Yeah, good afternoon. Good afternoon, dear learners. I am Dr. K. Dayakar. So, in the previous two courses, introduced you to the child in the context of development and significance of the early childhood care and education. Now, this course, that is planning and administration of early childhood care and education programs. So, this course initiates you into realm of teaching young children. The realm of teaching young children encompasses a range of educational practices and approaches that aim to promote their growth and development, while specific principles such as uh, the top 20 principles for pre-school children to 11th, 12th grade, which are recommended by APA document, provide a valuable guidance. There are various other methodologies and strategies employed in early childhood education. So, creating a supportive and congenial learning environment, fostering child centric approaches, and collaborating with families are essential aspects of teaching young children. So, NEP 2020 also emphasizes the significance of early childhood care and education. So, ECE, early childhood care and education. So, here NEP 2020, National Education Policy 2020 in India emphasizes the significance of early childhood care and education and provides recommendations. Some recommendations to ensure universal provisionizing of quality of ECCE by 2030. So, according to the NEP 2020, ECCE is considered the greatest and most powerful equalizer that can contribute to the development, care, and education of young children. The policy, this NEP 2020, aims to ensure that all children entering grade 1 are ready for school. So, foundational stage, that is 3 to 6 years. So, here the NEP recognizes the crucial role of ECCE in a child's overall development and highlights the need for holistic and inclusive ECCE programs. It emphasizes that ECCE should focus not only on academic aspects but also on the social, emotional, physical, and cognitive development of children. So, all these social, emotional, physical, cognitive developments are also taken into consideration while teaching these young children. So, the policy emphasizes the importance of play-based and activity-based learning approaches to facilitate joyful and meaningful learning experiences for young children. Furthermore, the NEP 2020 recommends the integration of ECCE into formal education system. It suggests integrating pre-primary education that covering children in the age group 3 to 6 years, already mentioned earlier, with the primary stage of schooling. So this integration of aims to provide a smooth transition for children from early childhood education to primary education, ensuring continuing in their learning journey. Okay. So in order to achieve universal provisioning of quality ECCE by 2030, the NEP 2020 emphasizes the need for capacity building of ECCE professionals and the establishment of strong support system. So it calls for training programs for ECCE teachers, administrators, and caregivers, focusing on their pedagogical skills, knowledge of child development, and inclusive practices. So this policy also stresses the importance of effective monitoring and evaluation mechanism. So evaluation, assessment practices and mechanism are also important. So this policy also stresses the importance of effective monitoring and evaluation mechanism to ensure the quality and effectiveness of ECCE programs. How effective these ECCE programs? Okay. So the NEP 2020 places a significant emphasis on ECCE and recommends various measures to achieve universal provisionizing of quality early childhood development, care, and education by 2030. Okay. So here in recent years, science and research are providing a better directions in organizing these ECCE programs. The first 6 years, which are critical in terms of brain development in the child and demand a stimulating environment at the preschool level. Early childhood education program and the strategies should therefore be multiple in nature. Okay. While a child learns through music, some children learn through music. Some children may learn through drawing, by drawing something. They can learn something. Okay. Or some children may learn through some pictures. Okay. So here the combination of stories, playing some songs, or participating in the games, or creating a creative activities, providing some creative activities, etc., is essential. So this should find a place in early childhood education program. So if you take any activity with a specific objective, must be repeated in a variety of ways. Okay. So that would help in reinforce for some children, or learning occur for other children. Okay. So most of the preschool children would respond to an informal approach, not a formal setting. Okay. So this informal approach is also facilitate learning. So with their increasing exposure and experiences with environment, the children present at that environment, whether it is home environment or formal setting in preschools like Anganwadis, Balavatikas, or preschools. So their learning strategies would also widen. So the common general strategies that are generally used in preschool settings are conversation as a strategy, and also a learning through a play, or music and movement for joyful learning, and also stories by arting, painting something, drawing, or creativity and readiness. So all these strategies provide basis for certain major demands for the program simultaneously, including the number of interrelated components. So here conversation and storytelling play an important role in children learning. So what is this conversation and storytelling? How important are they? So the conversation is a strategy which helps in developing vocabulary in children. So generally, we know that we share our experiences to our friends or our relatives or our colleagues. Why? We share our experiences and feelings with others. That is the feelings that we generally we share our feelings, right? The same way is possible in case with children. So preschool child uses a language for narration extensively. Uses so language that usually that language would be in their mother tongue. So at this stage, a child gains the ability to express feelings and thoughts through their mother tongue more and more. So on an average, 10 to 15% of their conversation consists of questions, as we know that. So when a child converse with us, when his conversation, most of his conversation consists of many questions, means 10 to out of 100 words or sentences he use, 10 to 15 questions, consists 10 to 15 questions. Okay, so almost all questions are related to the immediate environment. Okay, their environment that is generally relevant to their environment. So the conversation helps not only to develop vocabulary in the children, but also supports other developmental areas as well, like in physical development, emotional development, cognitive development, social development, etc. So here a story as a strategy also helps in building a vocabulary. Building vocabulary. So stories catch the attention of a child right from young age. So most of the young children don't sleep without listening a story. We are we all are aware of that with our children. When they were in a preschool age, generally they may ask they may ask us, Mama, Papa, please tell a story. They request us, tell a story. So here storytelling has become an activity of great interest to children everywhere, not only here, everywhere in the world. Although the contents of the story may vary from generation to generations, its values and objectives remain the same. So the story content may varies from olden days to now modern days. One geographical condition, one place to another place. But the aim and objective values system remain the same. So stories are introduced to children mostly by parents during bedtime. Generally, parents introduce stories to children. So the grandparents, sometimes grandparents are also, they tell stories to grandparents to their grandchildren as a part of interaction with the grandchildren. So due to change in the family structure in recent times, the opportunity of the child to listen stories from parents and grandparents is getting limited. That decreases the spending of the time children with those with their grandchildren or their parents decreases. So one is important thing, that the story as an activity, it has become significant in the context of child learning, because it is a widely agreed that by listening with our ears, 25% remain remains in our memory, that in children memory, or by listening and seeing, that is 50% remain in our memory or children memory. By listening, seeing and experiencing, that is 75% remains in the memory. So by listening, seeing, experiencing and recollecting, that 100% remains in the memory. So it is for teachers to plan story session suitably. So which is suitable? So 100%. So the teacher aim is the retaining the memory at the 100%, 75% or 50% or 25%. So teacher should take care of this. And to the conversation as an early childhood education strategy, in any preschool program, conversation as a strategy which helps in developing different skills in the children and caters to developmental demands. Generally, it is called a circle of time. So here, conversation as a strategy is highly useful both for the child and the teacher. It provides the needed security to the child, and it helps the student, helps the teachers that understanding the children, the level of or developmental stages of children among the children, so teacher can understand. So this conversation helps teacher, a student, as well as teachers and students. So here the conversation helps in developing familiarity with person and environment. So students internalizes or familiarizes with the surroundings and environment, or the person who he is talking or he is listening from. And also students feel secure. They feel secure. And also it helps, that conversation helps socialization. Socialization means understanding or mingling with others, understanding others' feelings, their own feelings. So socialization happen by conversation. Also, habit formation. The conversation become a habit formation. And also, this conversation promotes listening ability, listening that become habit of listening and understanding, follow the instructions given by the storyteller or teacher who were present at that time, and also use of vocabulary, different words, different vocabulary, how to usage or how to use, and auditory discrimination, auditory, when to use the sound, lowering the sound and raising the sound, and intonation, stress, all these things are possible by conversation. So here storytelling is a powerful tool. It is a powerful tool in meeting the developmental needs of child. It is a very powerful tool which caters, which facilitates the developmental needs of the child. It facilitates learning in the children and helps the teacher in observing the children. Hence, stories help in learning language, develop skills of reasoning. Why? The child tries to reason out why it is happening. What could be the possible reason? What is the he can expect what happens next, what happens, why it is happened. Like that, he tries to reason out. So the reasoning improves and problem solving skills are also improves. Sequential thinking. What comes first, what comes later, and what comes so on so forth. So this conversation also provides a vent to emotions. By conversation, so some difficult emotions, the difficult things can be went out. By that, the child get a relax. Not only child, everyone gets a relaxation by venting emotions, bad emotions. And also by conversation, child get entertainment and exposure to culture and value system, and scope for imagination capacity, imagination ability also increases by conversation, and also a kind of creativity and self-expression. So self-expression is also increases by conversation. So stories which are desirable for the preschool should be familiar to children based on everyday subjects. So simple language with many clear illustrations in color. So while teaching story, a teacher can use different charts with colors. So here some guidelines should follow by the teachers. So teachers should follow some guidelines to use conversation as an effective strategy. So the teacher should make the children sit in a circle or semicircle. So teacher should speak to the children with care and concern. So the arrangements should be that the students arranged or make the children in a circle. They sit in the circle or in a semicircle. So teacher should speak children with care, utmost care and concern. Okay, teacher should start with known subjects and things, not abstract, but concrete things. Then introduce the concept needed to be introduced. So should decide in advance the subject matter on which the conversation is to be conducted. So we can, as a teacher, uh, uh, should divide that storytelling in different stages, like stages. So first day, the teacher can take some new words connected with that particular subject should be introduced. You any story, any words the teacher can take, and the common content, the words connected to a common theme or content. So on the second day, conversation should be carried using some pictures. Some pictures are also helpful in teaching the story. Some flashcards and things available in our surroundings in the classroom. So different things are teach aids we can use while storytelling. So also you can ask, the teacher can ask the children to watch the same and make the other children to talk about that subject. So generally, teacher allow the students to express, explore, or say, teacher ask the children to watch the same shown by the teacher. The same way, make the other children talk about that same subject. So on the next day, encourage children to converse using new words pertaining to that subject. And the next day, or so on, keep on asking questions. The teacher allow the students to ask questions and allow them to think. So by showing pictures, things available, and maybe use it for the above activity. So here conversation as a strategy should be highly flexible. So new words can be introduced as a part of free talk. Free talk is possible in conversation. So many steps are to be climbed while using this conversation. So conversation can be enriched by using concrete and semi-concrete things, not abstracts, So teacher should take the known things, that are objects, like charts. By using, teacher can use charts or flashcards or some puppets or materials from easily available teaching aids. And teachers should encourage children to talk on their own by using words newly introduced. So generally in storytelling, teacher may use some difficult or different new terminology and new terms. So teacher should encourage the children to talk on their own by using these words, newly introduced words. So teacher should help children to think and imagine and predict what happens and how and why through these questions, like how and why it is happening. Like that, teacher should allow the students to think, imagine, and predict. Think why it is happening. What could be the possible reason? Like that, teacher should allow them. Like this, storytelling is helpful in this conversation. Next one is the techniques and strategies helpful in conversation and storytelling. So story session can be made attractive and interesting by using different techniques depending on the nature of the story. We can use different techniques and strategies like sand tray techniques, flannel boards, puppets, roll graphs, flashcards. We can use uh, different uh, strategies and techniques for the storytelling. So as we are aware of different puppet show, we are puppets play has not only an entertainment but also an educational one. This puppet show, making simple puppet is a joyful activity in ECCE. Like that, some cutouts also we can use, and flashcards, showing some flashcards. These flashcards may contain some pictures by showing this animal picture or whatever, which should be creative. That flashcard picture, creative. So the story are pasted on the study base in the sequence wise before the story is narrated. So before narrating the story, you should uh, present those flashcards to the students. So here, teacher's role is very essential role, that is crucial role. So teachers should provide daily opportunity to share the experiences of children when they come to school and listen to every child carefully. So sometimes teacher can invite the parents to the preschool when the child can explain about the school. So teacher, if teacher asks the child about the school he or she is studying now. Studying means for preschool, and encourage children to be a good listeners. So the teacher is required to focus his or her attention on the language development of the child, such as oral expression, fluency of speech, and contents of speech. So teacher should observe keenly the oral expression of the child and fluency of the child, and fluency in speech and contents of the speech. So the development of good vocabulary and clear and accurate speech is one of the important aim of preschool education. So every teacher should make sure that her children are progressive satisfactorily in this area. In case she finds that some children have very good vocabulary or cannot yet speak clearly, so here teacher should see it that they are exposed to a large number of experiences in which language is involved, such as a free conversation, storytelling, picture book, reading, etc. So introducing story with voice modulation and expression is important. So repeating the same story using different props. So role play of the character with actions and emotions by all children. So teacher can ask the students, there are students, playing of the characters. And so dramatization by children who picked the threads and narrating a story in a sequential order, children arranging the cards in a sequence. So teacher encourage children to tell the story in their own words and encouraging children to answer question, problem solving, sequence, reasoning, etc. And in the next class, we will discuss about evaluation. So this is about today's class, that is storytelling and conversation. Thank you.